Life isn't waiting for you to figure things out. Every second you waste thinking you've got plenty of time is a second you'll never get back. And by the time you hit 30, reality isn't knocking at your door anymore. It's kicking it down. Here's the brutal truth. If you haven't faced these truths by now, you're already behind. You're already paying the price, whether you realize it or not. Nobody owes you anything. Not respect, not opportunities, not love, not a single damn thing. You can sit around thinking the world should recognize how special you are, how much you deserve, but life doesn't care. The world rewards what you give it, not what you think you're entitled to. You want respect? Earn it. You want success? Work for it. You want love? Be worth loving. Stop waiting for someone to hand it to you because they won't. Time is your greatest asset, and you're wasting it. You think you have forever to figure things out, to get serious, to chase your dreams, but here's the harsh reality. You don't. Time is ticking, and every hour you spend procrastinating, making excuses, or indulging in comfort is an hour you'll never get back. By 30, you should already understand that your time is limited, and you can't afford to waste it on things or people that don't push you forward. Your potential doesn't mean anything if you don't use it. Everyone has potential. Everyone has dreams. But how many people actually do something with it? If you're coasting by on what you could do, you're already losing. Nobody cares about what you're capable of. They care about what you actually deliver. If you haven't figured out how to push yourself, how to turn potential into progress, you're squandering the one thing that makes you unique. Pain is inevitable. Growth is optional. By 30, you should know that life isn't going to spare you. Hard times will come. You will fail. You will lose. You will get knocked down. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and complain, or are you going to stand up, take the hit, and get back to work? Pain isn't the enemy. Avoiding it is. Every time you shy away from discomfort, you rob yourself of the growth that comes with it. Comfort is a trap. By 30, you've probably realized how tempting it is to settle, to stay where it's safe, where it's easy, where you're not challenged. But here's the thing. Comfort will kill you. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It will rob you of ambition. It will make you lazy. It will lull you into mediocrity. If you're still clinging to comfort by the time you hit 30, you've already lost the edge you need to win at life. You are your habits, period. By now, the way you spend your days is defining your life. If you're still wasting time on distractions, letting bad habits rule your routine, and putting off the changes you know you need to make, you're setting yourself up for failure. Every habit you keep is a vote for the person you're becoming. If you haven't taken control of them by 30, you've already let them control you. Success isn't glamorous. It's relentless. You might think you'll have made it by 30. But here's the truth. Success isn't a destination. It's a grind. It's showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not. It's doing the hard work, the boring work, the unglamorous work. If you're still chasing the idea of an easy win or instant gratification, you've completely missed the point. No one is coming to save you. By 30, you should have faced this truth head on. There's no cavalry, no magical opportunity, no secret hack that's going to change your life for you. If you're waiting for someone or something to come along and fix everything, you're going to be waiting forever. Your life is your responsibility. Your success is your responsibility. Your failures are your responsibility. Own it or stay stuck. Regret is worse than failure. Let this sink in. By 30, if you haven't taken risks, chased your goals, or pushed yourself beyond your limits, you're already living with regret. And regret doesn't fade, it grows. The longer you avoid the hard truths, the more they'll haunt you. Failure isn't the enemy, it's a teacher. But regret? That's the voice in your head that reminds you every day of what you could have done but didn't. You've got to stop lying to yourself. By 30, you should have the courage to look in the mirror and face the truth about who you are and what you're doing. Are you really trying your hardest, or are you just getting by? Are you chasing what you want, or are you settling for what's easy? Are you proud of the person you've become, or are you making excuses for why you're not? Stop sugarcoating it. Stop dodging the hard questions, because if you're not honest with yourself, nothing will ever change. Turning 30 doesn't come with a manual. There's no alarm that rings when you cross the threshold, telling you to get your act together. But here's what nobody tells you. Every moment leading up to 30 is a training ground. Every decision you've made, every hour you've wasted, every time you've settled, all of it culminates into the person you are right now. The question is, are you proud of that person? Or are you still hiding behind excuses, procrastination, and fear? Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. Readiness is a myth. You'll never feel ready. And by the time you're 30, the clock isn't ticking anymore, it's pounding. It's reminding you that time is the only resource you can't replenish. If you haven't learned by now to stop waiting for the perfect time, you're already behind. Here's a truth that stings. By the time you're 30, you can no longer blame your circumstances. It's not your parents' fault. It's not your boss's fault. It's not the economy's fault. By now, the choices you've made are yours. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's on you. Nobody's coming to fix it. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You're either building the life you want or you're making excuses. And let's talk about those excuses. By 30, you've perfected them, haven't you? I'm too busy. I'm not ready yet. I don't have the resources. But here's the cold truth. Excuses don't pay the bills. Excuses don't build careers. Excuses don't create legacies. If you're still leaning on excuses to justify why you're not where you want to be, you're choosing to stay stuck. The harsh reality is, by 30, you're not judged by your potential anymore. Potential is what people talk about in their teens and early 20s. By now, it's about results. It's about what you've done, what you've built, what you've accomplished. Nobody cares about what you could do anymore. They care about what you've actually done. If you're still coasting on your potential, wake up. Time's running out to turn potential into action. Your friends and the people you surround yourself with, they matter more than ever. By 30, you should have learned this the hard way. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If your circle is full of complainers, underachievers, and people who drag you down, guess what? That's who you're becoming. You need to audit your relationships ruthlessly. If someone isn't pushing you, challenging you, or adding value to your life, they don't belong in your circle. Let's talk about money. By 30, you've either mastered the basics of financial discipline, or you've dug yourself a hole so deep it'll take years to climb out. The truth is, most people waste their 20s spending recklessly, avoiding responsibility, and pretending they'll figure it out later. Well, later is here. If you're still living paycheck to paycheck, avoiding saving or ignoring your financial future, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of struggle. Discipline isn't just about fitness and work. It's about how you handle your money too. Health? You can't ignore it anymore. By 30, your body starts to hold you accountable for the neglect of your 20s. The late nights, the junk food, the skipped workouts, they catch up with you. If you're not prioritizing your health now, you're making a choice to suffer later. And no, you don't need to be a fitness fanatic. But if you're not at least maintaining a baseline of strength, endurance, and energy, you're setting yourself up for a life of physical and mental weakness. Here's something nobody wants to admit. By 30, you're running out of excuses for not chasing your dreams. You've had a decade to figure out what you want and start pursuing it. If you're still stuck in the same place, still making the same excuses, still dreaming without acting, that's a choice. And you'll regret it. Because every year you let slip by is another year you'll never get back. And let's be honest about regret. By 30, if you haven't taken risks, faced challenges, or pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, regret is already creeping in. The opportunities you didn't take, the risks you avoided, the goals you postponed, they're starting to weigh on